It's all the above, best believe we do it better. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. What up?
What's up, guys? It's your girl Angel Marie, and I'm sitting here with my co-host Kevin. And this week we are bringing back a special segment that we know you all know and love, called This or That Celebrity Edition. Whoop whoop! Get ready. All right, so number one we have Beyonce or Rihanna. Now this is a real one, so you know it's either the Beehive or
that's what I'm saying. This is a no-win
that is going to come
situation.
for you.
I'm gonna go Beyonce just because I think the Beehive is bigger than what you call her?
Navy.
Than the Navy. Both super talented, but I mean Rihanna is as big as you can get, but Beyonce's hit iconic status where I mean we're talking. You had like Janet Jackson level in the late 80s and early 90s. Like Beyonce's there where she's transcended all sort of barriers, boundaries. So I think Rihanna's probably the second most popular, female pop star, R&B star on the planet. But I guess I gotta go with Beyonce.
I agree.
But you can't go wrong with either one though.
That is true. I agree. I'm gonna say Beyonce. Both of them are amazing, but I feel like performance-wise, entrepreneur-wise, businesswoman-wise, I would say Beyonce. Rihanna, I love though how she's been able to step aside from the music and make a huge name for herself as a mogul. Yeah, Fenty Beauty. She's became this big business mogul with Fenty Beauty where she has the lingerie line, the skincare line, makeup line, all that jazz, and then people are still begging her for music. I feel like there has never been an artist where for at least 3 years now, people have been begging our good sis Rihanna for a new album. And she has been playing with everyone's emotions for the last year, saying, oh, the album was gonna come out December 2019. We're almost at 2021 and we did not get an album. So, I don't know. But with Beyonce, I agree with you, where I feel like she has successfully transitioned past multiple decades at this point and is still relevant. Like she went from Destiny's Child in the early 2000s, then 2010s.
That was late 90s actually.
Late 90s? I thought it was early 2000s.
No, Destiny's Child, no, came out like, that was like 97, 98.
Okay, so then boom, 90s, then 2000s still with Destiny's Child, but you know that's when they had to transition the group members. Then 2010s when she started flourishing as a solo artist, but this was before 2010s, she actually became a solo artist, but still. And now we're like 2020, she's this huge star. I would even say she's on Michael Jackson level with her stardom at this point. I would. She ain't above Michael Jackson, don't get me wrong. But I do feel like her level of success. If you think about how strong and how hard the Beehive goes for her, she can literally stand for 10 minutes and the crowd still goes crazy. She don't make people fall out though, so I did not say she is as big as Michael Jackson. But I did say she's probably the most current and most recent celebrity who could be viewed as a Michael Jackson status of our time.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you walked it back a little bit.
Yeah, but I saw your face. I was like, let me backtrack because that's not what I'm saying. But I choose Beyonce. All right, number two. I'm very curious to get your answer on this one. We have Luther Vandross or Stevie Wonder.
Oh, Stevie Wonder.
Oh, I thought that was going to be a little harder.
Oh, no. Luther Vandross has a great voice. Stevie Wonder, I think, he may be the greatest songwriter in the history of the planet. I'm not talking about the greatest artist, but as a songwriter, he's as good as they come. He's one of those people where he started in like the late 60s, early 70s, and he was popular through up, to the mid 90s when he kind of fell back.
He's so popular now.
Yeah, and I mean, Stevie Wonder is an icon.
Yeah.
A legend. You can't tell the story of music without Stevie Wonder. So Luther Vandross is a great singer. Obviously his life was cut short, sadly, but I mean, Stevie Wonder is a musical genius.
I agree. I'm gonna say Stevie Wonder. And I also want to point out that it's like we wouldn't have the black community version of Happy Birthday if it was not for Uncle Stevie Wonder. So shout out to him for that. But I will say also, he started when he was like 15, 16 under Motown. For him to be a blind man and to have this much success on his own, where he's playing multiple instruments by himself, singing, songwriting, I feel like he surpassed the bounds and the expectations of someone with a disability, and he showed that the sky's the limit. You can still do whatever it is that you have the passion for. So that's why I'm rooting for Stevie Wonder. And obviously, I don't think there's ever been a Stevie Wonder song where I'm like, I don't really like that. I feel like his voice in general just perpetuates greatness. Granted, Luther Vandross, I feel like he has a 1 in a million voice as well, which is unique. But putting them together, I have to say Stevie Wonder. But Luther Vandross, he the bomb.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Stevie is just, there's very few, I don't use the word genius a lot, but he's, you have Prince as a musical genius, you got Stevie Wonder. I can't think of anybody I'd put above him. He's as talented and Stevie.
Fair enough.
Sorry, Luther fans, but it's Stevie. Easy.
This has been a battle for a while now.
Uh-oh.
So I'm curious to see who you're gonna say from a male perspective. So number 3, we have Nicki Minaj or Cardi B.
Okay.
Uh-oh, he has to think.
Nicki Minaj is the more talented lyricist.
Okay.
I'm not saying she has better songs, but she's the more talented lyricist.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Cardi B is somebody that if you were just sitting around having a conversation with, she's crazy, she's funny, but I feel like she's genuine. Again, forget people's opinions on her music. She seems to be genuinely a nice person. And I'm not saying Nicki Minaj is not, but Cardi B seems more approachable. She seems more down to earth. So I'm gonna go Cardi B more so on her personality. And I think that's the big draw for Cardi B, is her personality. She's funny, she'll make you laugh. And she doesn't take herself too seriously either, which from a celebrity standpoint, people who don't take themselves too seriously, that's an attractive characteristic or a personality
Because it's
trait.
hard to bring them down if they're already playing jokes on themselves. It's like you can't really hurt their feelings anymore because they're laughing with you.
And exactly, and they're saying, look, I get it, you can tease me whenever I'm not above that. So I gotta go Cardi B.
I'm gonna agree, and it's crazy because I literally was gonna say Cardi B off the strength of her personality alone. I love Cardi's music, I love Nicki Minaj's music, and I agree as well that I do think she's the better lyricist. And I just feel like I honestly would love to meet Cardi B and just chat it up with her, be her friend. We could go hang out, go get some brunch. But it's just her personality, I feel like, is infectious. There was plenty of times that I feel like...
That's a good word.
Yeah, it's infectious. I feel like there's been plenty of times I use the sayings that she's made up. When she even started out on Love and Hip Hop, I gravitated to her. And I was like, dang, they should give that girl music a better chance. And it's crazy how far she's come without Love and Hip Hop. Like, she removed herself from the show, and she became a big celebrity, bigger than all of them. So it's so crazy that they gave her no respect on that show and looked down on her when she was like, okay, I got my little bit of buzz from the show, so I'm just gonna remove myself altogether. And then now look at her. So yeah, Team Cardi.
So have we agreed on everything so far?
Yeah.
Okay, 3 for 3.
Okay. So number 4, we have Nas or Jay-Z. I already know your answer, but go ahead.
I mean, how many times, how many ways can I make this argument? But I try to be balanced and be as impartial as I possibly can, although I can. Jay-Z, I will agree with everyone that he's got the better catalog, the better body of work. But my argument has always been that Nas, at his absolute best, can hit heights musically that even Jay-Z can't reach. So you don't get that from Nas every album or every song. Sometimes it's spaced out. It might be, an album in between. But I think when Nas is at his absolute best,
you are glowing.
when Nas is at his absolute best, I feel that he just hits a height that even the great Jay-Z can't hit. So I'm gonna choose Nas. He's my favorite artist, period, anyway. But I do understand the other argument when people look at Jay-Z, his body of work. I feel like Jay-Z's the kid who gets, all A's, every single report card, and 1B. Nas may get some C's and B minuses, but every once in a while he's gonna get a report card where it's all A pluses.
Well, I'm gonna say Jay-Z, but pretty much like what you said, I feel like I'm only choosing Jay-Z solely because of his body of work, and I feel like I know more Jay-Z songs than I do Nas songs. I've never been a big Nas fan. I've never really considered myself a Jay-Z fan either. But
Really?
yeah, I don't consider myself a fan. Like, I like his music.
That's
but,
surprising.
Yeah, like to say I'm like a Jay-Z fan, like I wouldn't go to a concert, I feel like willingly. If he was with Beyonce like the On the Run tour, sure I'll go. But if I had to choose between either or, I would say Jay-Z only because I feel like he's more relevant to me as far as musically, where Nas has more of that raw, authentic hip-hop vibe. Jay-Z nowadays at least is a little bit more like, not pop, but at least a little bit more urban. Well, I don't even want to say urban because that's not a good choice. I guess like a bop where you can like play it as a part pre-game with your friends or something. You know what I'm trying to say?
Nice.
Like Nas is more of a lyricist, where it's that raw hip hop. I feel like that's your type of thing, where it's like you love the lyrics into it. Jay-Z, granted, his lyrics make sense too, but I just feel like with the beats and everything he chooses, not as like deep throat hip hop type vibe. So yeah. All right, so number 5, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. So it is Angela Bassett or Viola Davis.
Ooh, that's a good one, but easy. Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett. They probably are close in age, maybe?
I would say.
I think Viola Davis
No,
maybe a
Viola
little bit
Davis
younger.
I think might be like 50. Angela Bassett is
Just
like
turned
60s. Yeah.
So here's what I'm gonna say about Angela Bassett and why I choose, because Viola Davis is an incredibly talented sister. She is killing it. But the thing I would say with Angela Bassett is that she's been in this game for a long time. She's been killing it since the early 90s with Waiting to Exhale, What's Love Got to Do With It. She got an Oscar. I think Viola Davis got one too, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
But she got an Oscar, but Angela, like we see now more opportunities for black leading women on TV and movies than we've ever seen. And it's still a struggle, but we're seeing more of those opportunities. Angela Bassett is part of the reason why so many young black actresses and even the Viola Davises have the opportunities they have now, because she was a trailblazer. She killed it in the 90s when those opportunities were not available for many black actresses. She was carrying films and they did extremely well. She's got some of the most iconic scenes in movie history and we talked about this in a previous video where when she lit the car on fire, Waiting to Exhale. I mean, women rallied around that. So many of the classic scenes from What's Love Got to Do With It. And she's still at the top of her game. She's on the show 911.
She's still good.
And she does not age. She does
That
not
woman is still
age.
fit, still young, drinking from the fountain.
She'll run circles around chicks who are like 25, 30 years old. So I'm a Viola Davis fan, but I'm saying Angela Bassett is an icon. I know I've used that word a couple times, but she really is.
I agree. I feel like both women are incredible and phenomenal actresses, and they both have a great body of work. You cannot deny Viola Davis' acting ability, but I feel like putting her up against Angela Bassett, you have to choose Angela Bassett, because I was talking to my fiance about this yesterday, because I was watching What's Love Got to Do With It on TV, and I was like, I feel like Angela Bassett is probably one of the very few actresses, or actors period, that I can differentiate and separate her from the character that she's portraying. Because she has played Biggie Smalls' mother in Notorious. She's played Tina Turner in What's Love Got to Do With It. She played Michael Jackson's mother, Catherine, in Jackson's American Dream.
Yeah.
She's played in so many other biopics that it's not coming to my mind right now.
She was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s dad and Mom and Boys in the Hood.
And it's like, for all of those, I don't look at it like, oh, that's Angela Bassett. I literally look at, when she was in What's Love Got to Do It, I looked at that like, that's Tina Turner. Like, she embodies every character that she is portraying so well. Like, she engulfs herself into it, that I feel like she has to be the person you pick for any biopic. If I became a celebrity and I needed someone to portray me, I want Angela Bassett to portray me, because I feel like she can play in any biopic, and you can't say, oh no, she was in Love, What's Love Got to Do It. I can only see her as Tina Turner. She can't play Biggie Smalls' mom. No. Nope.
Yeah.
She is great.
She's one of the few actors, period, not just actresses, but actress who has Denzel's like that too, where as much as you know him, when you watch him in a movie, you forget that you're watching Denzel Washington. I agree 100%.
Yes.
Angela Bassett is the same way.
And it's crazy because it was an interview I was watching with her where she was sitting down with someone. I want to say it was probably like Vogue or something. And one of the questions they asked her was like, can you recite one of your favorite monologues for us? And she was like, right now? She was like, right here? And then literally like that, she was like, right here? Okay. And then she immediately just changed her face and did a Shakespeare monologue. I want to say it was probably Hamlet or something. And she bodied it. You could tell that she is a theater kid at heart, where she studied the craft of acting. She didn't just audition for something and got it and just worked her way up. You could tell she actually studied acting. I love her.
So, you're 5 for 5?
Nope.
Oh, that's right, Jay-Z. All right.
So
4 out of 5 isn't bad.
All right. So keeping up with this momentum, for number 6 we have Denzel Washington or Forrest Whitaker.
That's.
Okay.
We just talked about it. Don't get me wrong, Forrest Whitaker is a great actor. He's probably underrated, but I mean, Denzel, I don't know who you can put up there with him. He is up there, so that's an easy one. And obviously, he's played we talked about biopics with Angela Bassett, but I mean, Denzel's played Malcolm X.
Oh,
he's played Hurricane Carter, Story of the Hurricane. I'm sure he's played a couple other ones. And the amazing thing about Denzel is that he's older now. I think he's like around 60. And he still plays in action movies. The Equalizer movies, where he's, this older, retired CIA agent. He's still out there. He's not doing anything crazy flipping, but he's still, breaking people's legs and choking people out and all that. And it feels believable still. So I don't know how he pulls it off. Most guys at that age kind of wane off on the action stuff, but he can go anywhere. And the one story I always tell about when I said, man, he's one of the GOATs. I actually saw Training Day and John Q within a week of each other. And when I watched Training Day, when he got killed at the end of the movie, I was like, good. I was like, yo, kill him. And then John Q, I'm like,
right, you crying for his son, like, oh, save him.
The line where he was like, everybody knows the line. He's like, I'm not gonna bury my son. My son's gonna bury me. And I'm just like, I was with your sister, obviously. We were in the theater watching it, and I was like, if I was alone, I probably would have cried. The only reason I didn't cry because I'm like, I ain't gonna let her see me cry, but yo, it's Denzel. Sorry, you go ahead.
I agree. I say Denzel. Again, Forrest Whitaker is a great actor. He has a great body of work too, where I feel like he's such an underrated actor where people aren't fully acknowledging him the way he should be. But
he got his Oscar for The King of Scotland.
Yeah, and that's true. But it's just like, Denzel. Denzel is literally the equal. I'm trying to find the right word. Whatever. He's the same as Angela Bassett, in my opinion, as far as black actors and actresses. They're neck and neck. Where you think of icons, is them two. I don't even place anyone above them. The only person I will put above them is Cicely Tyson, because she is a true gem.
Oh, she's like, everybody bow down.
Exactly. Number 7, we have Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey.
It's a good one, but still, I think it's easy for me. Whitney Houston. And it's coincidentally, out of nowhere, I was like, I was on my Google Play Music or whatever, Android people, and I looked up a Whitney Houston song, and the album of her greatest hits, which was the album I guess came out, one of her greatest hits album came out like in the mid 2000s before she passed away, and yo, she has so many hits. So I was actually out of nowhere, just randomly a couple days ago, was listening to Whitney Houston, and I was like, I forgot how many great songs she had. Mariah Carey had a lot of great songs too. I think Whitney dominated, as far as being just a pure songstress from like the early 80s to the early 90s, mid 90s. And then Mariah Carey kind of ran the 90s. But I gotta go Whitney.
Yeah. I feel like even Mariah Carey would choose Whitney. I feel like even out of respect, like she paved the way, and I feel like she was such a raw voice, a raw talent, where she's such a little body and she didn't have to push too much out to get that voice right. And I was watching, like MTV had throwback VMA awards that they were showing a few weeks ago. And I think it was the 2000 VMAs, or like 2001, or probably like the 90s even. And somebody, I think it was like Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears were about to present something. And then out of nowhere, Whitney just comes from one end of the stage and starts singing. And you just see everyone in the crowd just start bowing down to her and clapping like, wow, oh my God, that voice. So it's like, she was so iconic where you couldn't put anything against her voice. Like any song she touched, I just felt like you felt that in your gut, in your soul. It was like, ooh, Whitney, say it again. But yeah.
Nope, I agree. Mariah Carey's great voice, but the power in Whitney's voice. I feel like her voice brings, you feel it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So we are in agreement there.
Ding. Number 8. So this one has actually been in the talks for a while. So I feel like I know who you're gonna choose. But we have to bring this up for this or that. So we have Chris Brown or Usher.
Oh, yes, this has been coming up, and I've had this conversation a few times. It may just be my age, because, you know, I'm basically the same age as Usher. I think he might be a year older than me. I gotta go Usher. Chris Brown has literally dominated R&B and pop for the last 15 years, and probably, actually I looked it up. I can't remember. I looked up how many #1 hits Chris Brown had versus Usher, and I thought Chris Brown would have it going away. I think Usher may have actually had more. I can't remember. Not top 10 #1s. Anyway, regardless of that, I gotta go Usher. I feel Chris Brown followed the blueprint of Usher the same way Usher followed it. You know, not that he's Michael Jackson, but R&B, dancing, and it's hard for me to put you above the person who actually influenced you or whose influence you can see, unless you just take it to another level. And I think I like Usher's voice a little better.
I agree.
I think he can dance as well as Chris Brown, although Chris Brown can do, I've seen him do some flips, and he's
Chris
probably...
Brown, we gotta admit, in the dance scene, Chris Brown dominates that part.
Yeah, okay, I'll give Chris Brown that. But overall, I enjoy Usher's music more, but that might just be a product of my age. I'm really interested to see what you say.
I actually say Usher too. The thing with me, if this was early on Chris Brown versus Usher period, I would probably say Chris Brown. But I just don't like the fact that Chris Brown's catalog, his sound, just everything, his genre has changed over the years drastically. Because before, when he first started out, it was a little bit of pop, more R&B, like that soul vibe. Now it's more like that dance electronica kind of sound that he be having a lot, and I just can't rock with it. Like, I still like the music, but not as much. And granted, that's not his soul catalog now, like the whole dance, pop, electronica kind of stuff, like rave music. He still has some of the old R&B in there, like the Misguided that he had with Drake and whatever else. But I just feel like Usher has been so consistent. Even when he came out with like Yeah and then Love in This Club and DJ on Dance Floor, like Usher switches it up a little bit too, but I still feel like it's still centered around his original sound. I feel like Chris Brown switches it up too much, where it's like, oh, I like the way, like, Chris Brown's first album was dope. I feel like I could listen to that full through. Every single song on there was lit. But nowadays, like, I still love his music. His songs that he put out now, and then when he's featured on people's albums, I feel like he helps elevate it because his voice is strong. But I would choose Usher.
I'm surprised. I thought there's no way in the world I would have thought you were going Usher over Chris Brown.
But I will say, if I had to choose to purchase, if I was down to my last dollar and I had to purchase either a Chris Brown or an Usher concert ticket, I would choose Chris Brown.
Okay, it's probably gonna be more of a upbeat hype show.
Yeah, because performance-wise, I feel like Chris Brown would be better.
And I think Usher has more slow jams than Chris Brown anyway. Chris Brown has slow jams, but Usher, that's more of his thing. That Confessions album and his album Usher.
That's the thing, like Confessions alone, you have to choose Usher.
Thank you. I think that album is better than any album Chris Brown has put out. As good as Chris Brown is, so I think a lot of younger people would disagree with us, but I know my daughter would most certainly disagree. But
your opinion don't matter, Kayla. So number 9, we have Brandy or Monica. Now this is another one I feel like people have tried to compare, so curious to know who you're going to choose.
Monica has the better voice, but I think I might like Brandy's music better though.
Okay.
When you first said it, I thought without question I was gonna go Monica. I'm gonna go Brandy.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Brandy. I think I like more Brandy songs than Monica songs, and I'm probably a little biased anyway because it almost felt like with Moesha, and she was even on the show there before. I feel like Brandy was like your sister growing up or whatever. Like she was just always there. So I'm gonna go Brandy.
Okay. I'm actually gonna choose Monica. I like them both, so it's kind of hard. But I feel like I find myself listening to more Monica's music than Brandy. But I will say Brandy Sitting Up in My Room is probably one of my favorite songs that she's ever had. So that was such a good song. But I'm gonna choose Monica because I just feel like her catalog wise, her voice, it resonates with me more. I like it.
Interesting. So, because Monica, I don't know, it feels like her music is like like just one of those days and stuff. She's like the little sassy teenage girl for those girls. Like, obviously she got older and the music, evolved with her. But
and it's like I love Brandy's music too. But if I have to choose, I'm going to say Monica.
I feel like Brandy's music is music you would play at a party or if you're going out. Monica's music you play if you're, thinking about your man or about to break up or you're angry or whatever.
Well, that.
I don't know. But I love Monica too.
Woohoo! Number 10, we have Michael Jackson or Prince. Choose wisely.
Yeah, I don't want to die. I know you'll probably kill me. It'll be a long, slow death if I say anything other than Michael Jackson. But let me start here.
Oh, God.
I mentioned Prince. Prince is a musical genius. Like I put him up there with Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
Just the ability to play instruments, the music, the creativeness, and Prince's career spanned decades. He reinvented himself. One story about Prince. I remember this was in the mid-2000s, and I was finishing up my master's degree. I was in a graduate class, and there were adults who were in their 40s, mid-40s in that class, and we also had people who had, graduated college, undergrad, a couple years before who were like 24, 25. And it was when Prince was coming to Philly. And somebody mentioned the Prince concert. And it was mostly women in the class. And I saw, somebody was like, oh, I'm going too. And I saw that classroom, women who were black, white, Hispanic, Asian, as young as like 24, as old as like 45, 50, all flip out because Prince was, and they were all going to the concert. And I was just like, I don't know if I've ever seen someone who can generate that response from that diverse group of women. So Prince has got some voodoo witchcraft.
Michael Jackson could do that too, though.
Not in the way, it was different. It was different. So anyway, I would say Prince is amazing, but Michael Jackson's he's the biggest, greatest entertainer ever. It's almost similar to the Jay-Z Nas argument where I look at Prince as like the Jay-Z. Don't get me wrong, Michael Jackson, I'm finishing up soon. Michael Jackson, his catalog is comparable to Prince. So I don't want to say Prince's catalog is like better or light years ahead. But Michael Jackson just hit a level that I don't think anybody ever will hit again. No one hit it before him, no one after him, I think. Even Beyonce, no one will be able to get to the level he did. So I gotta go Michael. And I'm just gonna shut up and let you go on, because we're gonna be here for a minute, y'all.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet.
Really?
But yeah, everyone knows I'm gonna say Michael Jackson. Nobody can hold a candle to Michael Jackson. They even said it in the Jackson American Dream where his daddy Joe was like, do you think that Donny Osmond could hold a candle to Michael? Nobody can hold a candle to Michael. Boom. Point blank period. Nobody can touch him. His numbers, his Grammy Awards, all the awards, his records, his catalog, his dancing ability, his acting ability. My man's was on The Wiz. The Wiz was the greatest black American musical film Broadway ever.
Whoa.
Ever. What else? I don't know. But yeah, he's just amazing. There's no debate here. Michael Jackson. Prince is great. I mean, he played multiple instruments, he produced, created all his songs. He's a great performer as well, but Michael Jackson's the GOAT. My dream was to go to a Michael Jackson concert at least once in my life. And I actually was going to try for This Is It until I found out I was only in London. I was like, yeah, I can't make that move. But
you would have been one of the people getting carried out on the stretcher.
oh, I definitely would have. And it's funny because you know how Facebook has little Facebook memories and all that? I meant to send this to you, but I think this was in like 2016. I had made a post of a Michael Jackson impersonator singing. And I was like, dang. I was like, it'd be nice if somebody could send this to me as a birthday present or a Christmas present. And then lo and behold, you ended up doing that for me a few years later.
Yeah, what was that?
That was
2018?
2018. That was the closest I had ever been to being in Michael Jackson's presence. Even though it was an impersonator, it was still very well appreciated.
That was one of my favorite things when I saw your reaction. Because I was like, I knew you would like it, but I was like, I really, that took a lot to pull that off and all that stuff, but I was like, I gotta do this. And when I saw your reaction, I was like,
I cried like a baby, y'all.
Nah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Good times, good times. So number 11, we have Halle Berry or Kerry Washington. Who are you gonna? Halle Berry.
This is the first one where I'm just really scratching my head. Halle Berry.
Okay, I mean Kerry Washington has a good catalog as well, so I felt like she's not as big as a sex symbol and diverse actress as Halle Berry, but I thought with her level of success, it was sort of close enough.
There's actually people who may argue that Kerry Washington might even be, from an acting standpoint, may be better, because Halle Berry did win an Oscar, but it was for Monsters Ball, and you know, people have kind of gotten on some of her movies. She's had some duds, but I mean, Halle Berry is, again, she's just below iconic status, but she's up there in terms of her impact and her career spanning. She's another one whose career spanned, I think, you know, she was in Boomerang in like 92, and she's still doing movies now. She just turned 54, looks as good as ever. Kerry Washington is, you know, younger, and I think her career, the height of her career was over the last 10 years, but I gotta go Halle Berry.
I'm gonna go with Kerry Washington.
I figured you
I
would.
feel like people solely look at Halle Berry as a better actress just because she's been in the game for so long, and she is viewed as an icon as well because she did pave the way for a lot of women of color as well. I'm gonna say Kerry Washington because I feel like to look at her when she first started out and Save the Last Dance, to look at her body of work now, she's come a long way, and she's a great actress. She's constantly getting booked for gigs. She's constantly playing different type of characters where it's not being typecasted where she's only playing like a mom or a prostitute or a psychopath or something. Like, she has a good variety. And then with her TV show, I was gonna say How to Get Away with Murder. Scandal. Like, even that was such a huge show, even though I never watched it. But
Really? I thought you were going all over that. I've
I
never
watched
watched
too many
it either.
TV shows, so I try not to get into new shows. But yeah, I choose Kerry Washington.
Fair enough.
All right, this is a good one.
All right.
We're putting on for Philly right now. So number 12, we have Will Smith or Kevin Hart.
Will Smith.
Oh, okay.
That's easy. Kevin Hart is amazing. He's at the top of his game. But Will Smith, man, I mean, when I think of, people think of Kevin Hart in Philly now, but I mean, Will Smith is, at one point, he was like the highest grossing actor in Hollywood. I think maybe The Rock overtook him.
Yes.
When you think of what Will Smith has done throughout his career, he's Grammy, hip hop artist. He hasn't won an Oscar, but he's been in blockbuster movies. Obviously, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is one of the great sitcoms of the 90s. And his mass appeal is beyond, you know, almost anybody you can think of in Hollywood.
That's fair.
He can carry a movie. I mean, he's had some, you know, iffy movies, some bad movies, but he's also had some great movies. Kevin Hart, his movie work is but I think Will Smith, if you look at his overall career, what he's done, because I'm also looking at how long have you sustained it. Kevin Hart's probably been at the top of the game, might be getting close to a decade from when he first kind of really hit the scene to where we are now. But I mean, Will Smith has been dominating the game for 30 years.
Yeah.
And he's still not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I gotta go Will Smith.
Yeah, definitely Will Smith. And I feel like I have to choose him solely based off of what you just said too. He's so diverse, where he did music, he's done movies, and he's not just doing one type of film. He does action, he does drama, he does comedy. Kevin Hart literally only does comedy, and I feel like every
He did
comedy,
do one drama film though, the one with him and the guy Bryan Cranston, who's in the wheelchair.
I ain't
Kevin
see
Hart's
that
like.
one. I didn't even see that one, and that's the thing.
It actually came out like maybe 2 years ago.
Oh, and it's just even the comedies that he played. I feel like Kevin Hart literally plays the same type of character, like the jokes and everything. It doesn't seem like he switches up his acting. Like it looks like I'm watching Kevin Hart play in a movie.
Yeah.
With Will Smith, it's almost what I said with Angela Bassett, where I feel like I can separate the actor from the. Well, I feel like I can separate the person from the character that they're embodying. Like with Will Smith, I look at him, obviously, I'm like, oh, that's Will Smith. But I feel like he channels into it. I feel like The Pursuit of Happiness is probably the main film where I feel like he channeled that so well, and where I saw his ability as an actor flourish even more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, we're in agreement there.
And last but not least, for number 13, we have Diana Ross or Janet Jackson. Two queens who dominated different eras. I knew this would put you through a doozy.
I'm gonna go Diana Ross.
Ooh, okay. I wasn't sure which one you would choose.
Now I will say I think Janet Jackson, not quite like her brother Michael, but maybe one of the top 5 greatest musician entertainers we've seen. She dominated a 15-year period, a 10-15-year period. But Diana Ross is the original diva.
Yeah, she's the blueprint.
Yeah, thank you.
Like,
she's the
I feel like
blueprint.
Mariah Carey takes after her when it comes to being a diva.
And like Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Diana Ross. It's just very difficult to put anybody above her. Diana Ross did it when, like, she was another one whose career, it was really up until like the late 80s, early 90s, before she kind of stopped making music on the regular. So we're talking 50s, Motown, all the way, a career that spanned 40 years.
Yeah.
And again, she's like, when you think of just diva and glamour, she's the person that comes to mind. I can't put anybody above Diana. And she was actually my very first crush.
Really?
Oh, when I was like 4 or 5 years old, like anytime my mom was like, Diana Ross is on TV, and I'd be like, I remember literally being a little kid, and she was the first like woman that I was just like, oh, I like her.
Did not know that.
Yeah, it was like, little innocent kid stuff, but that's like the first like crush I remember having was Diana Ross.
I can agree though. I would say it's tough because Janet Jackson's my aunt. But if I had to choose, I feel like it would be disrespectful to not choose Diana Ross just because of her starting out in the business as the black female singer, and literally there would be no Beyonce, no Whitney Houston, no Mariah Carey, no Janet Jackson if it wasn't for Diana Ross. Even Michael Jackson looked up to her. She was his favorite. Other than, he loved James Brown and
But she mentored him too, though.
Yeah, so it's like Diana Ross, she's amazing. Because I feel like if the whole big dance scene was a thing back then, Diana Ross probably would have been a little bit of a Janet. I feel like Diana Ross isn't that big of a dancer, but I feel like I could see her.
If you ever see like clips of her dancing or trying to dance, it's not pretty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like she tries to finagle as much, but yeah. And then even she's also in The Wiz with Michael, so yeah. But Janet Jackson, she's thebomb.com as well. Like her catalog is great. Dancing, obviously, her as a performer, I would go to a Janet Jackson concert in a heartbeat. Diana Ross is still performing today, and I feel like she's left such a legacy not only for other entertainers, but her children as well, like Tracee Ellis Ross. She separated herself from Diana, is very successful. Her son, Evan Ross, he's been on hit TV shows, movies. I think he tried singing, I'm not sure. But yeah, her grandkids, you can even see them, they're probably about to start out in the show business too. So I just feel like she's even creating a whole new generation of mini Diana Rosses. So,
yeah, I can agree.
This was a good one.
I liked it.
Well, there you have it, guys. We hope you enjoyed it. That was This or That Celebrity Edition. So I feel like this was a good one. I feel like this is the first This or That we've done where we actually had different answers for quite a few instead of just one.
Yeah, you surprised me with some of your answers that you did agree with me on, and then other ones, I suspected. But this was a good job by you picking. I like how you set it up because you made the choices tough. There were only a couple where I was like, that's easy. And I think the ones that were easy were because I'm so biased in one direction. It doesn't matter what you say, like with you and Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
So it was a good job. I like that.
Yes, and you know, if you guys liked it too, definitely let us know by giving us a thumbs up in the video below. And as always, if there's anything that you guys like during our segment, if there's a celebrity that you would choose over the other, or if you disagreed with one of the celebrities we chose, definitely let us know by hopping into our comment section below. We love to hear your thoughts and we always respond. And as always, last but not least, definitely push that subscribe button. That is how you stay up to date with everything that is going on with all the above. You get new video alerts all the time, so you never miss a beat. That was a good one, but you know, it is time to wrap it up. I am your girl, Angel Marie, and I'm sitting here with my co-host, Kevin.
See you guys next time.
See you guys next time.
Wednesdays at 7, Angel Marie and Kevin playing the illest records, bringing us back together. Philly is all season, swimming through any weather, leaving the track bleeding, way we pull it together.